Welcome back to the Hockey Show, and what the hell happened to the Toronto Maple Leafs last night, losing to the Tampa Bay Lightning 7-3, and they're lucky that Tampa Bay just kind of gave up towards the end as well, because they could have put a beating on them, but they already saw that the Maple Leafs had rolled over and died, because they had given up completely, because they are a sad, abysmal squad that is not ready for the playoffs, never will be under Kyle Dubas, never will be with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It is wrong, and by that, by the Ninja Turtles line, I mean, I know it, whatever. Marner, Matthews, Tavares, and Nylander. You know what? No, not Nylander. Just those guys. This is not a playoff team, and they just aren't. These are not playoff performers, and it shows. I mean, have you not got in your mind, all of you mindless Toronto fans, that think that this team is ready for them? For the playoffs? They just aren't. They just aren't. And this game, I think, sums up their entire existence with this core as a whole, is that they go in and you think that they have a chance and they just blow it every time. So let's just break down this game. So really, I just want to say this is a bad loss, and I mean bad. And I know it's like, well, no loss is ever bad, but like, take the Dallas Stars game, right? Take the Dallas Stars overtime loss to the Minnesota Wild. What is so crushing about that? The crushing nature is that they put their heart and soul into winning that game. They fought tooth and nail. They took the hits. They took the blows that they had to block shots and get those huge physical guys, punishing them into the boards, right? They had to take that for like a game and 2/3 of a game, and it came up short and couldn't get the job done. Jake Ottinger putting his everything into keeping that team into it, and then they lose, right? That is soul crushing. But here's the thing. That type of loss might, if you're like me, if you lose like that, you are going the next time looking to find blood on the other team. And that would be the biggest motivator in the world, that you pushed so hard and lost after a bad bounce. They didn't even do anything better than you. It was a bad play by one of your players, and it turned into a huge, like, no chance of you stopping it type scenario, right? I would go into that next game ready to kill the other team. I would be so ready to be the hero and be just a rat to the other team. But this is the type of game that is just shattering for a team. So let's go through the game. So to start off, I think the Maple Leafs, they started off a little too hot. I think you need to start the game hot and ready to go, but I think they were trying to do too much. I think it was kind of like when, imagine like a child, like a child trying to fight, like if you have like a younger nephew or something, right? And they're like, you know, they're always like want to fight or something, like pretend fight you. Like, they're going in like, I'm going to beat you up, right? But they're not doing any strategy. They're just like, I'm just going to go for it. And I think that's what the Maple Leafs were doing wrong, is that they were just going in too fast. They have no strategy. They were like, we're going to go out there and kill them. But they didn't have any system, and they were panicky with the puck. A turnover just a minute into the game, and it goes to a goal to Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, one of those depth guys that people always are like, how are they going to win the Stanley Cup with those guys? Tampa Bay's all washed up, but no. The Corey Perry, Bellemare scoring points tonight. Maroon looked great. So shut up. Your team's the one that sucks. So bad turnover to start the game, right? And then later on, just a few short minutes later, 6 minutes after that one, Tampa Bay, Toronto, they can't get to the other end of the zone. Just once again, I don't want to say panicky, but just trying to like force like a play to happen. Just lobbing the puck into the neutral zone. Tampa Bay retrieves it, turns it back around. There are 4 Tampa Bay players in the slot, and 4 Toronto players in the slot in front of Samsonov. 2 Tampa Bay guys, and somehow, and this isn't one of those times where it like, you know, like no, it was those guys all competing with each other right there in the slot, and Tampa Bay is the one to score the goal with 4 Tampa Bay players, Toronto players in front of the net and with those guys. Embarrassing goal in front of the net, can't get it. Cirelli just finds it and puts it in, and Toronto just seems helpless. But I didn't write them off because Toronto, they would go to the other end of the ice and they get a couple dangerous-looking chances, but nothing would ever go in. So, and then later, a little bit later on, they started looking lazy towards the end of the first period. I felt like they were still trying, especially when Marner's and Matthews was out there, and I felt like they had some dangerous shots that would be like, oh boy, this could be the turnaround. It's only 2-0, and then they'd either miss the net, or Vasilevsky would be there to cover it, or Tampa Bay would block the shot. But they were starting to look really lazy towards the end of the first. I felt like after the second goal, they looked a little okay, but towards the end of the first, I thought they were looking a little lazy. And then TJ Brody with a holding call, which was kind of interesting. I don't know if it was really holding, but I can understand why they called it. And he goes to the box, 2-minute penalty, of course. And Nikita Kucherov, I could see this happening a mile away. They set him up a couple times in the game for the one-timer, and he kept missing, or it would be a good save. But then this time, Kucherov's just standing there, wide open, pass it to a guy like Kucherov. Same thing with like Matthews. That one's going in every time, and he bangs it home with only 2.6 left of the period. I mean, they looked dead. They looked dead. I mean, Toronto, they were just rolling over at that point. But they start the second period a little hotter. It looked like they finally calmed down. They're like, okay, let's regroup, boys. We gotta start this period right. 3 goals, we can score 3 goals. We can score that. Let's just calm things down. Don't let them get only 1 goal at most this period. And we start coming back, score 2 this one, score 2 the next period. We got this in the bag. It's okay. Let's calm down, right? They go in, they start looking good to start. Ryan O'Reilly with a power play goal and Nylander with a power play goal as well. Power play for the Maple Leafs looked really, really good. And I think that's because the Tampa Bay Lightning, it wasn't because Tampa Bay was really bad on the penalty kill. I just think that they were like going into the second period ready for a rollover dog, and Toronto actually showed up and played good hockey on the power play, and Tampa was not ready for it. The first one was actually sort of like Tampa Bay-esque with the pass to the corner to the slot, and then they find it home. And Nylander, just a good goal. So they start coming back, and then that was the best things we're ever going to get. Because ever since those 2 goals, it was just disaster and embarrassing. So, Bunting has a cheap shot. Regardless if you think it looked that bad, or if you think whatever you want to think about it, regardless of anything, you cannot deny that it was a cheap shot. Even if you think it wasn't on purpose, it doesn't matter. You trip someone without being on purpose, it's still a trip. You should be more smarter with your play. You know he felt guilty, because the second he did hit the guy, he did the, I didn't do, oh, you didn't see that, and kept playing, and then one of the referees did see that. So you can see he did the guilty thing of like, what? Oh, okay, you didn't see it, and then it was called, and then he was like, what? Whoa. Regardless of anything, one thing that the hockey guy says that I've always agreed with him is that I believe that there should be like a stupid penalty anyways. If you do something stupid like that and then you raise your arms and be with the guilty, it's like, you know what you did. You did something, and it's a 5-minute, and I think it's right. Game penalty, sent out of the game. Surprised by that, but it is a headshot, and they're really looking after those. Sent out of the game. So 5-minute penalty, no major. They can score as many times as they want on it. So Point scores a goal early in it. Well, somewhat early in it. It's just one of those simple plays where the puck comes to the guy. He Samsonov's here, Point's going this way, and can just shoot it past him. Like, it's one of those times where the goalie just can't catch back up with the play. So first goal for Point, pretty good. I think that was an okay one, especially on the power play. Those are the ones you kind of score on the power play. But then there was another penalty at some point. I forget who it was for. I think it was Slashing. I don't remember. I didn't write it on the board. I'm an idiot. Corey Perry scores on the 5-on-3 penalty, and this was the death shot. I thought Braden Point's goal was like, okay, you let the one in, but then the other extra penalty happened, and I was like, oh my gosh. Then Corey Perry, I mean, this one, I know there's contention about if it was in or not. I think it was over the line. And you can say, well, they checked for goaltender interference, or if he froze the puck. Well, the only time Samsonov would have actually technically had the puck frozen was when it was already in the net. So, yeah, it was a good goal. I think good goal, tech by rules-wise. Bad goal because Toronto, what the hell was that? I mean, what the hell was that? Like, there's no goaltender protection at all. Where was that defenseman? He was, like, not doing anything. How do you let your guy just let him, just, what? Like, what? Like, the one thing I would do, I'm not a good player at all. I mean, I play hockey, not anything good. But the one thing I do on defense is if a player is crashing in my goaltender like that, I'm getting my stick in there. Where was the Toronto player? I have no idea. And there was 2 Tampa Bay guys, so he wasn't like covering up here. The 2 guys were down here. Where the hell, what were they? So, bad goal was the death shot. But then, I think this was the definition of going to be what this series is. Braden Point's weak as hell backhand beat Samsonov through the legs. It was the weakest goal I've ever seen in the playoffs. And a Lions goal, that was unfortunate, but this was just bad. What the hell happened? It's just, Samsonov's moving over, Braden Point just goes to the backhand and just releases it, and it just goes in. I mean, there was no screen. This was a bad goal. Bad goal. Bad power play. This was the end of the Maple Leafs, and there's no point even talking about the third period. They just kept padding the score, and that's what she wrote. It ends 7-3 with Toronto looking like a bunch of losers, and this is a bad loss. Dallas's OT loss was hard, but this was even worse. This isn't hard. Dallas's overtime loss was a hard loss. That's when you fight so hard for something, and then you don't get it, right? And yes, it can be soul-crushing. You can go whine like a baby, or you can use that as fuel to go try to beat him again. Imagine you play a game with your friend on the Xbox, and he beats you, or you play someone in your family at checkers or something, right? You want a rematch, and you want to go again. But what is soul-crushing is if you are, like, going into this confident, and you're supposed to be the better team, and you end up getting absolutely smacked by the other person. Could you, like, imagine playing checkers with your 7 years younger family member, right? And you play checkers against them. It should be, or chess, and it should be an easy win. You know how to play chess. It's not a surprise to you. And then they beat you. That is what you call this game. It's embarrassing, and you're a loser now. There is no confidence, and Toronto is shattered after this. And Austin Matthews' face said it all, I think. He was literally just sitting there. They kept showing his face, and he just was like, it was the face of not anger. It was the face of not, I don't even know if it was disappointment. It's the face that you get when, like, someone, like, you trust, someone you live with, like, just does, like, the stupidest thing in the world, and you just have no words anymore. Like, say you're a father, and your son somehow just exploded, just destroyed a sink. He made the sink collapse, and you have no sink anymore. And you're just like, you have nothing to say. And I know that's a stupid analogy, but, like, that is what the face of Austin Matthews was just like, I'm out of here. And I know it's like, oh, whatever, you like the Coyotes, you're just wanting him to leave. But no, that was the face. I think Matthews is like, I'm out of here. This is, I can't take this anymore. Marner's face was just one of, like, God. And, like, his was one of, I think, disappointment. Because I think he was trying. Marner had a few really good plays out there, I gotta say. He looked really good. Matthews did look pretty disappearing. The only time I ever noticed him was when he did, like, a fake slap shot and then he passed it. That was the only time I actually noticed Matthews on the ice. Marner actually looked good. Nylander looked good. Tavares didn't look bad, but he didn't do much either. Overall, I think the real problem with this loss is goaltending for the Maple Leafs and just the lack of effort. Because only Marner was the guy that I saw that was really pushing out there. Nylander had a couple good chances. I mean, he scored a goal. But overall, I think Nylander and Marner were the only guys actually pushing, and everyone else was just kind of lackadaisical and did nothing. So from this game, this is the type of game that I don't know how they bounce back. I don't think they really can. This is ego shattering. This is a no confidence win. How do you show your face going into the next one? This isn't one of those type of games that you go in being refueled. This is the one where you go to practice tomorrow. The coach is going to be so mad at you. There's no words for an excuse. This is just a bad loss, and I don't know if they can recover from this. Dallas's game, I think they can recover from that, and I think they might do it tonight. But this is a whole other level of embarrassing, and they need to just forfeit the entire series. That's all I gotta say. So thank you for watching this. If you've enjoyed me pounding the Maple Leafs, please pick up a free subscription. I'm begging you, please. And until next time, thank you for watching. Too sweet, and ta-ta for now.